In studio, it's been a busy day. I've had so many guests, and Madeleine Burdon is with the Waimakariri District Council, the age-friendly community facilitator. Is that officially your new role, Madeleine?
Tēnā koe, John. Yes, it is.
Nice to see you. How are you?
Kei te pai, I'm good. Yes, had a fabulous sleep, and I'm part-time, so that's made a difference over the last year.
You love your job, don't you?
Yes.
I can tell. I really can tell. And, of course, we have an ageing population here in the Waimakariri area. We are growing like Billy-O, as they say. I think they're predicting a population of 30,000 within the next decade or so. That means a lot of older people. I could be slightly wrong on that statistic, but it's certainly growing, isn't it?
So we're 60,000 now.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
of course, I'm referring to Rangiora.
But the percentage they were talking about was maybe the 30% of the population will be 65 and over.
Right.
Maybe in another, maybe less than, 20 years or 2028. So, it's very challenging in terms of infrastructure.
Yeah. But there is a plan.
There is a plan.
There is a plan. Don't worry. In fact, she's holding it up, the Age-Friendly Waimakariri Plan. It's quite a big booklet, that. What sort of progress do we have on the plan?
So currently I'm reporting to the Community and Recreation Committee of Council next week. So COVID held things up a little bit. And in the plan, which we've prioritised under the 8 themes, now the 8 themes are from the World Health Organisation, and these are defined as the areas where maybe it's easier to make progress. So that's things like housing, social participation, communication, health services, outdoor spaces and buildings, transport. So they're quite big chunks of things that impact on everyone and may particularly raise issues for an ageing population, as well as accessibility. So there is progress, both the things that council units have done as part of their business as usual or new initiatives, and that the community has engaged in. And
there would be an advisory group, right? Who is on that?
Well, there's a great advisory group. When we set up to do the consultation and pull a plan together, we had a community steering group. So a lot of those people were interested in being available. So basically they represent large organisations in our district that have membership of older people or are a key service provider. For example, Presbyterian Support, Upper South Island. The Ministry of Social Development obviously look after anyone who's 65 and up. U3A. We've got IHC represented as well. The Citizens Advice Bureau are a key information broker. We've got a couple of independents. We've also got a councillor appointed. And we have an independent chair. So that's been wonderful for us. And we have someone from the Access Group, because that's really important as well. I think I've covered everybody.
Yeah, I think you might have. Top issues at the moment?
Affordable housing is going to increasingly be an issue, and the right type of home. Mm-hmm. And more people won't own their own place, even though at the moment we have a high percentage of home ownership.
We actually, I think, have the highest percentage of home ownership in the country. Yeah,
that's rapidly changing according to data. Things like ongoing access to health and social services, and being urban-rural, also access to services, transport. So that's some of those things are bigger than us, but supporting the community who are doing stuff is important. Another biggie is social inclusion and social participation. How do we communicate information to people? How do we encourage people to pick up the ball in their neighbourhood or with their neighbours or with their friends and say, oh, would you like to come too? And there will be people who are fine and who don't feel isolated. But it's about maybe having opportunities and having the information.
And initiatives are underway as we speak, I would imagine. Yep.
Absolutely. And the libraries, the Citizens Advice Bureau, things around digital inclusion, for example. But there's a whole lot of things in the community that have been running, like gold coin movies that the Methodist community put on at Wood End. Board games, card games, welcome morning teas, community suppers that Hope Community Trusts do, a whole lot of the things that person-to-person help trusts do at Kaipoi. There's a whole raft of things that happen. English as second language classes, migrants and newcomers have been doing for a few years, as well as the groups that do things in their own communities, whether that's a neighbourhood support group or whether it's somebody that wants, a plunket group or whoever. So it's about supporting the capacity of the community to do things. We have a community trailer, for example. So one of my teammates is looking at supporting communities who want to have a community barbecue, a neighbourhood barbecue. And sometimes during that we can also undertake some consultation.
Yeah. Madeleine, I've noticed over the years a lot of people retire to Rangiora, to the Waimakariri area from all over the country, actually. What is the attraction for older people? I mean, it's flat. That must help. But, you know, it's surprising the number of people who are attracted to this area in their later stages of life.
I think it's possibly a mix of the beauty of the place and its closeness to other things.
There's lots happening.
There's lots happening, and obviously the growth that's happened reflects that. We also had subdivisions that were consented, and we're still cheaper than buying a section and building in the city, which is challenging for the city. So I think there's a combination of things, and there is some public transport available. I think we need to get used to not being dependent on cars. We've got to look after our climate as well. I think a number of factors. It may be closeness also to family, or it may be coming back to roots.
Yes,
Joanne, who's our chair, for example, comes from here. Her ancestors, maybe 3 to 4 generations ago, have roots here at Burdon, and so they're back here after being overseas.
Fantastic. Look, compared to a large chunk of the country, I can't help but feel we're pretty much on track. Are you confident?
On track with what in regards?
Yes, in terms of planning for an elderly population, and in other words, the plan you've got in place you feel is realistic and is on track to become a reality.
Yes, I'd say yes. I think there are some of the bigger things where we're but one partner. For example, ECAN are a key partner in terms of public transport. The DHB, another partner in terms of what services may be available here. Developers in terms of what types of homes are built. How is housing marketed? So there will be challenges in terms of also how do we have input into planning that actually means we are able to do the things that we need to have people safe in their homes, or safe in housing and close to services, and not alienated or out at the outskirts of somewhere with no transport.
Well, never a dull day for you, Madeleine.
No, there's not, usually.
Madeleine Burdon, everybody, is the age-friendly community facilitator with the Waimakariri District Council. You're listening to Compass FM.